excited to see you. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys are so faithful. We are back. It is Monday. It is 8:30. Therefore, it is time for Conversations with Teresa. And you made it. So happy Monday, everyone. I hope that it is off to an amazing start to your week. We got something great for you guys tonight. Oh my gosh. So we get a chance on Conversations with Teresa to hear from a professional coach on our careers. All right. We all got them, whether we think about it as a career or a job or opportunity, we all got it. And then there are times that we have to elevate it. And so this week, we get a chance to hear from our professional careers coach. And I'm so excited. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you guys my coach, Bethany Greenley, career coach extraordinaire. Yay, Bethany! Thank you so much. Thank you for being on, Bethany. And just like I said, Bethany is my career coach. She is someone who has helped me tremendously. I'll probably get in a little bit more into that, but we all need some help every once in a while. And it's really, really great to have not just a career coach, but for me personally, to have Bethany there. It has been absolutely incredible. So thank you so much for joining us, Bethany.
Thank you, Teresa. I am so pleased that you invited me to join your podcast. This is going to be so much fun.
Absolutely. So I know one of the things that I think about immediately is the fact that 2024 is right around the corner. Oh my gosh, it's only a few weeks. We're already in December.
I can't believe it.
Great, right? So we are here, and oftentimes people are feeling, all right, it's a new year. It's time for a change. I want to make some type of change, whether it is, in our state of mind, but it could be in our careers. It could be financial. It could be whatever it is. But a lot of times a job or a career change is at the top of the list, like right under losing weight, right?
Right. I know.
I don't even make that anymore. I ain't gonna lie. I don't even go there anymore.
No, toss that out the window.
But making career changes at the start of the year is often something that people think about. And so I just thought that it was so appropriate to have, I was going to have you on anyway, but I just think at this time, it was so appropriate to have you come on and really walk us through what it means, different choices that we have to make in our life, even if it's not right now, it will be soon or at some point. And I think that you're just the perfect person to do it. But before I get you to do that, let me brag on you for just a little bit. Okay. Sure. I'm going to read your bio. This is the only time that I will not be like here, locked eyes with you. I'm going to read the bio so I don't mess it up. All right.
Okay.
All right. So Bethany Greenley is a career coach and holds a Master of Arts degree in career and technical education, along with several current certifications. Global Career Development Facilitator, and Certified Career Services Provider. Having worked in both public education and the private sector as a facilitator, teaching professional development skills, and for a career development software company, she truly enjoys helping people realize the value and skills they have to offer to an employer. Her focus in the past 3 years has been on outplacement, assisting those who have lost their jobs. Bethany coaches people at all levels, from early and mid-career to C-suite professionals, and her practical, calm approach puts people at ease. And I can attest that was it, right? I was just like, oh, she's like real cool people. I like day one. So it's been so great having that coaching relationship with you and just really building from there. So thank you so much for who you are as a person.
Hey, so I'm glad I could help you. That's what my goal is.
Yes. And it has been tremendous. So one of the things, or two things that I will say, one specific way that you've helped me, and you will talk about this, is I have been doing resumes for a long time, helping other people do resumes. But what you did to my resume, it was just like you had some little sprinkle dust. Wait, what?
Fairy dust.
You made these these words that I've always seen become so much better than what I could have done. And I was just so appreciative that it was a fresh look. It was an amazing thing. And that's my one thing I'm going to say on that. And then I'm going to let you talk about what it is that you do besides what I just read off.
Well, being a career coach means something different to every person that I work with. Mm-hmm. Sure, we've got the normal things that we do, resume assistance, even getting your LinkedIn profile brushed up. There's so many things that you can have on your LinkedIn that people don't often do. And so it takes other eyes on the resume, on the profile, in writing a cover letter that aligns with your area of expertise.
Exactly.
And going through interviewing tips. Sometimes people have held a job for many years in it, and they say, it's been so long since I interviewed, I don't know where to start. Mm-hmm. So it really takes some self-awareness, thinking about what am I really good at? Where do I excel? What is my specialty area? And those are the things I want people to do some journaling, write those things down where they know that they do these things very well, because we can weave that into your story and how you articulate your personal introduction. And you're going to need several different personal introductions depending on the setting that you're in. It's so important. You need a short one, you need a longer one. There are different interview techniques that hiring managers will use, and I try to prepare everyone for the potential questions that they will be asked. And so that self-reflection time will really help. These days, it seems like so many people are getting asked, about themselves, their personal history. What did you do, in this job or that job? And, how does that align with what we need you to do? Those are the things that you really have to articulate. How your skills and abilities align with the role that you're applying for.
Right.
It's a whole process of getting started. But when people can think about these things up front, and really start thinking, what am I good at? Ask people that are close to you.
Right.
What do you see me as? How do you see that? Some of my strengths. What are some of my strengths that you see? So, it helps talking to those that are close to you because they see you differently than you see yourself.
Very true.
So this is the time to start doing those things now so that you can be prepared. Think about your strengths, start putting together your introduction or 2 or 3, get that resume fixed. Yes. And start thinking about how you would answer different interview questions. We always get asked situational questions.
Absolutely.
So if you don't have anything to pull from, you're going to do that. That's the worst thing you want to happen, right?
Exactly. We don't want to be there. Now, you had just said, now is the time. But what if I'm not even looking for a job? Is now still the time?
It's always the time. Everyone should brush up on their resume and LinkedIn profile. Take a look at it every 6 months. You constantly learn new things,
right?
Whether it's a new technology, some new project that you got put on that you hadn't done before. Those things you need to remember. So it's good to have a master resume with everything, right? And then you can pick and choose transferable skills that will apply to the job that you are applying for, or maybe another direction that you want to head in.
Right. You're absolutely
everything
right.
Transfers. Everything.
I remember some advice that I got years ago was, as you are entering another job, just kind of keep a running list every week, almost of what you've done, a log on what you've done, for 2 reasons. One, because you will forget,
definitely.
You'll definitely forget what it is that you may have done to be able to put on your resume, but also for your performance review. realizing all the different things that you have accomplished and learned, and
Mhm.
then you can say, oh, I have experience in. You may not be, expert at it, but now I have experience in
Mhm.
this, and that's something that you can absolutely
You're
add.
so right about keeping a log of things that you've done. We do forget, even if you do it monthly, it's better
Mhm.
than a year, 2 years. I can't tell you how many people have told me I haven't looked at my resume or my LinkedIn profile since I created my LinkedIn profile, or my resume. I've had the same job for 10, 15 years,
Right, right.
So that could be something that is a hindrance because they don't remember.
Exactly,
And I can only
exactly.
fill in so many blanks.
Yeah. Having just met the person, right? It might be
Mhm.
it might be a little hard. No, I
A little bit.
totally understand, just a little
Yeah.
bit. So answer this for me. What advice would you give to someone if they were, again, maybe they're not actively looking for a job, but they're still feeling a little they're feeling very unfulfilled with their job, with their career, just
Mhm.
where they're at in their career. What kind of advice would you give them?
So it's good for everybody to take a step back and reassess. What am I doing? Am I happy here? Have I reached the top? Is there anywhere else for me to go from here?
Mhm.
Are there any other areas in that company that you've seen the work with that other people do and think, ooh, that sounds interesting. I
Right.
might be interested in that, even if it's at another company. Talk to that person, find out
Mhm.
what they do. It's called an informational interview where you ask other people questions about their work and,
Mhm.
because a lot of times you see people doing things and go, I can do that too.
Right, right. Exactly.
So, yeah, ask people about it. Start looking at postings and see how your skill set aligns with what's being asked for in the posting. It doesn't mean you
Okay.
have to make a change, but it's good to reevaluate where you are, have a refresh if you need it.
Okay.
Um, Even if sometimes, I've been wearing the same outfits for 5 years, I need to go get some new
How'd you
looks
know?
here.
I'm just joking.
Because I have them in my closet too. It's okay, you know. Mhm.
Absolutely, absolutely. So in your coaching, are there any areas that you've seen people consistently get stuck when it
Mhm.
comes to their search for a new job, for career?
Yes, it's several things. One of the biggest things I see is those who have the inability to provide a personal introduction, whether you want to call it your elevator pitch,
Mm,
a self introduction. People really get stuck with that. And I don't care if they've been a vice president or a CEO. I have
mm,
people at all levels, like I coach all levels. So
mhm.
it doesn't matter necessarily. It's a lack of self confidence sometimes.
Okay.
And the term imposter syndrome comes up a lot
Oh,
in
I think
coaching.
on every podcast it comes up.
It does. And
Yes.
it's really that, they have to, build themselves up sometimes, and go, no, I
Mhm.
have done this. I know how to do it. And
Exactly.
it's been going on for a long time. This is nothing new. I
Mhm.
remember my older sister telling me many years ago, she worked at a nuclear facility. She's older than me, but she would go in her office and go, oh my God, what am I going to do? But she sat and figured it
Mm,
out. And people
okay.
do figure it out. It's
Ex
not like we're going to know everything automatically. And anytime you start a new position, there's going to be a learning curve. You
Right,
have to
right.
learn the company ways and how they approach things. And sometimes you have to, interject a little change in there too, if it's
Mhm.
what they've been doing is not working.
Right, right.
Mhm.
And it's funny that you say that, where we all know in our head that we're entering into a new place, and so there is a learning curve, and
Mhm.
yet we walk in there that day thinking, I don't know everything, right? We might not say it, but it's just like, I got to learn all this stuff in the next 4 hours And then, you know, and we just put ourselves through some craziness.
Oh, we do. We put so much pressure on ourselves sometimes.
Oh my
And, you know, that's where the imposter syndrome comes in, right? We're
God.
putting
Right.
so much pressure, but we are capable. You know, we can do research, we can figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing that we can't do typically. You just have to learn it. That's how I got started doing resumes. I got
Mm.
told you're going to start doing resumes, you know, and I was like, what? I hadn't, you know, I've done mine, but, you know, what, you know, so I had to put together this whole portfolio system for students at a college.
Okay.
And it happened and it was successful. And so this was maybe over 15 years ago, you know, so
Wow.
been doing it for a while and it's only gotten better as the years have gone by. You learn so
Excellent.
much more as you do things. So
Exactly.
mhm.
Exactly. So, speaking again of imposter syndrome, I know that I have, well, imposter syndrome and getting stuck. I
Mhm.
know that I have looked at job descriptions
Mhm.
and I thought, oh, I could do that. I can do that. I could do that. Oh, I don't know that.
But that
Oh,
one,
I,
yeah.
I don't know that one. Oh,
Mhm.
maybe I shouldn't apply. Right. And
Mhm.
then like I could talk myself out of, you know, if there were 15 things on the job description, I don't know, I don't know, four of them. And I'm like, what advice do you give
It's
to
so
someone
easy
like
to talk yourself out of applying for something.
that?
You know, go for it. But the important thing to do is really draw from your experiences on those, you know, bullet points that you necessarily haven't done exactly that, but you may have done
Mm-hmm.
something similar or something that does transfer. Like I mentioned earlier, transferable skills. We all have them. They
Yes,
could be skills that you had, you know, 10, 20 years ago, but fast
exactly.
forward to today. How does that align with what the needs are? Is there
Mm-hmm.
something that you've done that you can pull from and say, well, I haven't exactly done this, but that kind of goes along with the theme, you know? So you're not lying, you're not inflating, you
Right.
know, and be truthful always. If you were to
Mm-hmm.
get an interview and say that exact thing, well, I haven't exactly done that, but what I have done is ABC that aligns with that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And,
Right, right.
you know, when you show that willingness to learn, there are job descriptions that say that, you know, you might not have everything on this. Most employers do realize they're not going to get 100% of what's listed in the job posting.
Mm-hmm.
So they know as long as someone has that ability to learn it, it's fine.
Right.
Hmm.
And I think you nailed it when you said that the employers know that they're not going to get that they may not get that 100%, because actually if you get the 100%, you probably don't need that job anyway. You probably need something that's going to stretch you a little bit, right? Some room for growth. It's
Right.
the folks who are actually applying for the job who don't always know that you don't have to have every single thing. Like you said, that willingness to learn,
Hmm.
something that is relatable,
Hmm.
you know, the things of that nature. But I would guess that that's where it's really good to
Hmm.
be able to, one, have a coach,
Right.
have a Bethany in their corner, but also, like you said, rely on the folks who are around you, and
Yeah.
they could probably point to, oh no, you know how to do that, you
Hmm.
know, and they're not just gassing you up. They're like, no, no, I've
Right.
seen you do this, you know.
Exactly, because we don't often, like we said before, we don't remember everything, you know? And so getting those words from other people, you know, it edifies you, it brings you up and builds your confidence. And that's
Mhm.
also part of my being a career coach is I can read through your resume and I can ask you everything that you have listed on there. Tell me about this, tell me
Mhm.
about that. And I can usually discern, you know, what you would be capable of, right? And talk to
Mm.
you about it. And from the things that I see on your resume, I say, well, wait a minute, you have done that, you know, or
Right.
I can help you figure out how it aligns with what you want to do.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly. And you've done that for me. So
Thanks.
yeah, I feel like you're also not my coach, just my coach, but you're my cheerleader too. So appreciate
Absolutely. I am a cheerleader for sure.
Great stuff. Great stuff.
Mhm.
So, uh, in your experience, what are the elements of a successful job search strategy? Like,
Mhm.
especially in today's competitive market, and it's obviously depending on where you are in the country, the job market might be a little bit more fierce than others. But are there
Mhm.
any some strategies that you could leave us with?
Absolutely. I call it applying with intention. So
Okay.
you see a job posting, right? You want to look up the company, look at their website. I like to use Glassdoor and look at reviews, reading
Okay.
between the lines, but there's other uses for that as well. If
Okay.
it's a company that is traded, you could look at their performance. This is called light research up front. Look at the LinkedIn company page, click on
Hmm.
the people. Do I see me here? Is
Mm,
it diverse? Is it, heavy on one side age wise or another, heavy young, heavy old, whatever? You want a good across the board mix. And
hmm.
that's one thing I always tell people. You wouldn't want to make a team of people that all have the same skill set, you
Right.
know, because you're
Right.
going to have an imbalance there. So
Hmm.
balance is important, but this applying with intention, the research up front, look at all the things if they were mentioned in the news negatively, positively,
Right.
yeah, because an employer, if they have been, and I have been through this with some clients, if a company has been listed in the news negatively,
Hmm.
I would hope that they would address that in an interview
You're right.
and
Right.
say
Absolutely.
what they're doing to take care of this issue. If they
Right.
don't do that or they kind of, shove it off to the side under the carpet, I
Red
don't know
flag.
that I would want to work there.
Right. There's a red
Mhm.
flag right there.
It's
You
a
know.
huge red flag. So do a little bit of light research, obviously not deep until you get an interview scheduled
Right.
because, looking for a job can become a full-time job.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't want people spending too much time going down this rabbit hole or that rabbit hole.
Right.
So light research up front and just know where you're applying to if you feel like it would be a good fit and
Okay.
keeping track of it. One thing that I offer my clients is a spreadsheet to keep track of all of the information. When did I apply? Have I heard
Mm,
anything yet? What is the potential salary? Do you have a contact name there? So keeping track of that on a spreadsheet is very helpful because trust me, once you apply for 5, 10 jobs, you will not remember which one you applied for. When was that again? The worst
exactly.
thing you can do is get a phone call and go, "Oh, what company is this? What job
It,
was this for?" Yeah, you
it's
should
very
know.
true. It's very true. And sometimes companies take a little time to get back to you, right? You
Mhm.
know, they may contact you 2 months later and say, "Hey, I'm calling from such and such." You're like, "What?"
Yeah, I'm sorry. I applied for this job. I don't remember.
Ex-
You know,
Exactly.
so you
Exactly.
can pull up your spreadsheet and hopefully connect the dots there and
Hmm.
just know because saving the job description, oh my gosh, I tell everybody the job description is your best friend
Hmm.
because you need to be prepared to refer to that
Yes.
in meeting those bullet points that they want.
Hmm.
That's so important. I do suggest people save the job descriptions. On LinkedIn, you can save it. If you find it
That's
elsewhere,
true.
even copy and paste it and put it on a Word document.
Right, right.
Mhm.
We have a viewer who says, yes, been there with the company hiding their right sizing round. It was mentioned, but they hid the fact that
Mhm.
they laid off so many staff over 5 different rounds.
Mm.
Big flag when they don't openly address it. So,
That
right,
is so true. And I have worked with people who said, if only I had done research on this company before I applied, because 1 year later they find themselves again without a job because of that same thing.
exactly,
Series of
exactly.
layoff after layoff after layoff. And sometimes when you do that research up front, you'll know. You'll find
Right.
it. You got to scroll way down.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but you
Right.
can find things for sure.
Exactly. Siona, thanks so much for sharing that. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Bethany, do you have any strategies that you could recommend if someone is looking to pivot into a new industry?
Absolutely. Again, those transferable skills. What have you done? So here's a really big leap. One person that I helped was a chef
Okay.
and is now working as an office manager. You
Well,
know,
okay.
so a chef, you're running the kitchen. There's leadership. You're ordering. You're having to, take inventory, right? And making your list. And there are a lot of office things that you do, administrative type of things that you still have to do as a chef.
Mm,
And the people management. You're
yeah.
managing the people in the kitchen. So we transferred all of those things towards a resume fit for becoming an office manager because this person needed to get out of the kitchen for health reasons.
Okay.
You
Okay.
just so happened they also had college to back that up, even though they hadn't really worked in an office setting.
Okay.
So, and they're successfully working as an office manager now. So,
That is awesome. That is awesome. All right. So I know we only have a few more minutes left, but what tips could you provide for crafting a compelling resume and cover letter that really stands out to employers these days?
keeping it simple. Um, a lot of things that I see, one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen recently are resumes that are created on a website. I don't know if I should say the website name, but it's where you can create social media posts and that. Um, don't do that. Templates are also not good.
Mm.
Resumes should not ever have any text boxes, charts, graphs, tables. I saw one recently that had the name in probably size 48 font at the top, which is way too large, and at the top of each page, and there were 3 pages. Nobody needs more than 2 pages.
Okay.
You can scale it back. Hiring managers are not going to look at a third or a fourth page.
Okay.
I've
Okay.
done resumes for CEOs on one page, believe it or not, because
Wow.
they are so succinct with what they have done,
Mm-hmm.
and it's cut and dry, and they can back it up with, what their experience is in their introduction and answering the questions in an interview.
Wow. That's helpful to know because you want to put in every single thing that you've done because you want to
Mhm.
showcase it. And you're right. It is pretty exhausting.
It's
I've been
not necessary. Keeping it simple, easy to read. When it goes through the ATS software, that's applicant tracking system software,
there.
it's picking up keywords. Don't do any tricks. I one time had a student say, well, can't I just put the keywords from the job posting in white font so it won't show up, but the ATS will pick it up? And I was like, no, do not do that, because, some people are really savvy with Word and they will look at all of the spacing and the paragraph button. Yeah, and there's a lot of little minute things, use the
Right.
tab key, not the space bar. It looks messy if people check for those things. And especially if
Mhm.
it's a job that requires a high attention to detail, there are people that will check it. I have had that happen.
Right. And just real quick, repeat that again between the tab and the space.
Don't use the space bar. Use the tab key when you want to space things out on Word. Mhm.
Excellent.
And
Excellent.
for our older crowd, there's only one space after a period now. Most people didn't get that memo. You know,
Okay.
older
Okay.
people learn to type with period, space, space. Don't do
Hey, thank you. I'm just saying, thank you. There's a lot of new things. I mean, from 5 years ago, it's so different. I think about how you
that.
used to have to put like your whole address on
Right.
your resume, and we don't do that anymore.
No, we
You know,
don't. That's a good point too. Just your city and your state and your phone number and your email. and your LinkedIn link. And if some people have portfolios, you can put that link on there as well.
Exactly. So just so very different. But if you're not in the job market,
you
no
wouldn't
one's talking to you
necessarily
about it.
know. And we don't use the term objective anymore.
Right. That's
You know?
right. What
You
what
know?
do we use? What's in place of that now?
So just a simple statement at the top that says, this is who I am, what I do, and what I can offer you, what I can do for you. You know, in the olden days, the objective statement would say, I would like to, you know, put my skills to use that I learned in my college and grow with a company. And nobody cares about that anymore. It's not what, you know, what you want. It's about how can you solve the problem that the employer has? Can you fill the needs that they have? You know, what do you have to bring to the table? That's the biggest thing.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Bethany, as we wrap up, you have given us so many reasons why we need a coach, whether it is us moving into another realm, another industry, or we've just been out of the game for a while. Uh, Sometimes it could be pride that could keep one away from a
Sure.
coach.
Mhm.
Like, oh, I got this, right? I know how to do that, or or we're listening to someone who thinks that they know everything, but they're not a coach. They're not in this realm all the
Mhm.
time. So again, this is one of the reasons why I thought it was so important to have you on, and just to really highlight that we've always needed coaches. I feel like in the last 5-10 years, and definitely especially after COVID, the coaches have not gotten its shine the way that it should have years ago. But now there's a coach
Mhm.
for almost everything, and we need it. We
Yes.
really do need it. And so
Mhm.
I just want to thank you so much for uh, taking your life's work and really just pouring it into people now, just to help them to be able to get to their next phase in life. So big up,
Absolutely.
big ups to you. So now, if someone is looking for a coach, who I
Mhm.
highly recommend, Bethany,
Thank
how
you.
could they possibly reach you?
They could check my website. It's bgreenley.com. I'm also on LinkedIn. Oh, yep, I see it going across the
There
screen.
you go.
So I'm on LinkedIn as well. I have my personal page under Bethany Greenley, and then I have my business page, which is B Greenley Career Advising and Consulting. So my email address is on my website. It's
Excellent.
bg@bgreenley.com.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. And all of that will be on our website soon after. But thank you so much that we have a place to be able to go to you and receive coaching. It is super, super important. Like Bethany, I also love to be able to help people. This is my shameless plug at the end of my of my podcast, that career coaching in confidence. And we
Mhm.
don't always think about it, that not a lot of people are thinking like, oh, I don't need coaching in confidence, but we really do.
Mhm.
And so I have a program called Unshakable Confidence Coaching, that I really help people to be able to understand their worth,
Mhm.
right? Whether it is in their voice, whether it's in their words, whether it's in their presentation, but to
Mhm.
really understand you can be confident. And even if all of your life you haven't been confident, confidence is something that can be learned
Mhm.
and taught, and it is a skill that you can put into practice, just like writing cover letters and effective resumes, and getting to your next career
Mhm.
ladder, Rod. So thank you again so much, Bethany, for being on. I look
Thank you.
forward to just all the people who have been enlightened by this. And again, be sure to reach out to Bethany if you are in need of any help, whether it is resume or cover letter, and interviewing as well, correct?
Interviewing, anything, LinkedIn profile, absolutely. Salary negotiation, just talking about office culture, generational differences. There's so many topics.
So many topics.
So
Okay.
many.
All right. Well, if you didn't know, now you know.
Mhm.
Now you know, Bethany. So thank you guys so much for joining Conversations with Teresa. I absolutely hope that this has been enlightening for you. And I hope that your 2024 will bring about lots of prosperity, lots of new jobs, new careers, new thoughts, new ideas, unshakable confidence, all of that stuff. It is going to be fantastic. So until next Monday at 8:30, this has been Conversations with Teresa with Bethany. Thank you guys so much for joining. Look forward to seeing you next week. Peace out.